שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ.
Beautiful.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Cantor Shacket. Shabbat shalom, Tova. Give us a wave, my friend. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to all the people who are with Tova and her family, with Joanna and John at their home. Welcome to all the people who are with us on Zoom and all the people who are following on our live stream. We are a community of many platforms. And Cantor Shacket and I, of course, are very pleased to be here on the Bima, also a platform, by the way. Badum ching. Hebrew word, Bima platform. Okay. We are looking forward to sharing Shabbat with all of you. We are very much looking forward to Tova's leadership as she becomes Bat Mitzvah here in the midst of family, friends, and the Temple Road Shalom family as well. And we hope that all of you, in your own way, from wherever you are, will be able to participate and help send support and strength to Tova as she is our leader today. Cantor Shacket.
Yeah, and I think I think if I'm correct, Joanna and John, you guys have prayer books there for everybody. And so all of your guests, we will be reading the page numbers. For those people who are following on Zoom or online, there are a couple ways you can follow along in the prayer book. We're going to put the link to where you can follow the prayer book on a, what do you call it, a pop-up book. Something like that, in the Zoom link. So you can click on that. It'll open up in a separate window. And when Tova or when we announce a page number, you can follow along that way. For all of you watching on streaming, above the player window, there's a little icon of the prayer book. You can click on that and follow along as well. So whatever you do, follow along, because we want you to be, you're our community. You're our community, and we want you, whether you're at home with Tova, whether you're online, please follow along. Say the words that we asked you to say. Sing the songs. Let's make this a community event.
And before we turn to you, Tova, and invite you to be our service leader for this Shabbat on this special day for you, it's our custom in this congregation to pause before we continue in the prayer book to invite your mom and dad, who are standing there with you, Joanna and John, to take a private moment with you, to speak some words of blessing, of love, acknowledging the specialness of this day, first with just the three of you alone. As the three of you take that private moment, all of us also can prepare ourselves for worship and be inspired by a song that the cantor will sing as we take an individual moment.
To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechi lach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Beautiful, thank you. And now we're going to start here on the Bima with the first part of our service, the Shema and its blessings. We begin with the call to worship, the Baruch Hu, which you can find on page 195. Page 195. If you're comfortable, please rise and join us as we sing these words together. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
And on this same page, page 195, those of you who are comfortable, familiar with the Hebrew of the morning prayer, Yotzer Or. It is a beautiful morning. Let us be grateful for the spectacular sunlight, the presence of family, the existence of Shabbat and happy occasions by joining together in the Hebrew on this page. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Yotzer Or, Uvorei Hoshech, Oseh Shalom, Uvorei et hakol, Hameir la'aretz v'ledarim aleha berachamim, Uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit. Marabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chokhma asita, mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or, she'asita yifa'arucha selah. Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir, v'nizge kulanu mehera le'orot, Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot. And we continue with appreciation for all the things that we have, each other, our tradition, on page 199. In the English in the middle of the page, I hope you'll join me in a responsive prayer that is here. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one unifier of humanity. Together, we give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose. May the teachings of our ancestors live on in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir in our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava.
Amen.
And on the next page, our affirmation of the oneness of our community of humanity, the Shema, we sing together.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated if you're standing. And won't you join us on page 201 as we chant the next part of the Shema together, the V'ahavta in the cantillation. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha veshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam beshivtecha bevetecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
The V'ahavta is the prayer that reminds us to practice Judaism throughout every day of our lives, not just on Shabbat, Tuesday at 10 o'clock, Thursday at 9 at night. And if we're able to do that, our tradition says we will help to make the world a better place. We will bring redemption to those who need it. We're reminded of that responsibility every Shabbat and every service when we sing words of redemption, Mi Chamocha, the song that we sang when we were freed from Egypt, when we were redeemed from a difficult and hard time. So too do we need to redeem our world. Let us sing Mi Chamocha as an affirmation of that responsibility. Page 204.
Mi chamocha Elim Adonai, mi kamocha Nedar ba'kodesh, norati lo doseh pele, norati hilot oseh pele. Shira chadasha shibechu geulim לשמך שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Yai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. So Yisrael kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, ufedechinu mecha yichuda be'Yisrael. Aleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. And now that we finished the Shema and its blessing section of our service, we turn now to Tova at your home as you're going to lead us in the next section of our service called the Tefillah. It's found on page 205. We rise for this section of the service, and Tova, I'll turn it over to you.
We continue with the Tefillah on page 205. Please join me as we chant the prayers on the next 3 pages together. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotinu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zoher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mivigulo Livnei Bneihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Hoshia Umagen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Vezrat Sarah. Source of all being, we turn to you as did our people in ancient days. They beheld you in the heavens, they felt you in their hearts, they sought you in their lives, their quest is ours. Together. Help us to see the wonder of being. Give us the courage to search for truth. Teach us the path to a better life. So shall we, by our lives and our labors, bring nearer the world we envision, one of justice, freedom, and peace. We continue together on the next page with Givorot. Atal gibor le'olam Adonai, mechei hakol, atarav v'choshia, morid hatal, mechakel chayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, zomech noflim v'rafei cholim, umatir asurim, umakayim emunato lishenei yafar, michamocha bal givorot, umidom melech, melech mimit, umachaye, umasmiach Yeshua, v'nemanot halach achayot hakol, baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. We continue with the Kedusha on page 208.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Tova, you may continue.
Page 210. To all generations we will make known your greatness, and to all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. We continue with singing Avis Mechu on page 211.
ישמחו ומלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו ומלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם יספעו ויתענגו מטובך השבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת, זכר מעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת. Tova, after you.
Those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness, for, being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation. Please join me in singing Kadshenu. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotinu ve'imotenu, ratzei v'imnuchatenu, Kadashenu b'mitzvotecha, notein chalkenu b'toratecha, Same'enu mituvacha, v'samachenu b'shuatecha, v'tacher libenu la'ovdecha be'emet, v'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava u'ratzon Shabbat kodshecha v'yanuchu v'Yisrael mekadashei shemecha Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. Tova, thank you so much for your beautiful leadership. We continue in our service on page 212, another prayer for the Shabbat day, this opportunity to rejoice and celebrate. On this Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us to hear your call. Grant us enough health to fulfill our duties and the compassion we need to attend to others. Teach us humility that we may perceive our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves and the charity to see the best in those around us. Won't you join me in the last paragraph, whether you're at home or with Tova or here in the sanctuary? We read together. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. O source of blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you. We praise you, Adonai, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadecha b'yira na'avod. And we end this section of our service with a prayer for that which is most precious, peace that we need in the intimacy of our family, in the greater circle of our community, and so much so in our world. Won't you join us? Sim Shalom, page 216.
Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, Barucheinu Avinu kulanu ke'echad, be'or panecha, ki be'or panecha natata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom, Tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ועל כל ישראל עמך, תורת חיים ואחוות חסד, ואחוות חסד, וצדקה וברכה ורחמים, וחיים ושלום. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל ישראל עמך, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים ורחמים עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל ישראל עמך.
After that uplifting song of shalom peace, let us take a peaceful moment for our own individual and our own personal prayers.
שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. Well, we have reached the next section of our service, the service for the reading of the Torah. And Tova, I know that this is the part of the service that you work so hard and have really done a great job preparing. You're reading from a portion called Amor from the book of Leviticus. And in a few moments, you'll tell us about what your Torah portion is all about. But I'm so excited for you that you have there with you 5 grandparents that surround you. How great that is for you and your family. And I want to say Mazel Tov to all of them. I want to say Mazel Tov to Jerry Zimmerman, to Susan LaCroix, to Michael Borash, to Robert LaCroix, and to Brenda LaCroix. Mazel Tov. So glad that you're able to all be together on this special day in Tova's life. And I'd like to invite all 5 of you to stand with Joanna and John as the Torah, and I'm going to ask Jerry Zimmerman if you could take the Torah that's there. And as you all stand up in line, we'll see if we can see you coming up to stand in line with Tova at the end. You're going to pass the Torah from the grandparents' generation to Tova's parents to Tova to place it in her arms as the acceptance of the heritage of Torah. So I invite you all to rise, for the grandparents to come forward, and for the Torah to be passed as we sing words of Torah together. Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai ואין כמעשיך. מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך. מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו ושלום. John, if you can pass to Joanna and then to Tova, and then Joanna, you have special words to say to her.
As you receive this Torah, remember its teachings, its wisdom, and its history. Let it guide you this day and all days. As you embrace it, so may you embrace what it has meant for the Jewish people over the generations. Judaism is a history and hope, learning and laughter. We pray that the story of the Jewish people continues brightly with you as you grow as a person and as a Jew. May you embrace the Torah your whole life. Beautiful. And now, Tova, as you hold that Torah, I'm going to sing the words of our people, the Shema. I'd love all of you there to join us as we sing together. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo. And if you will, Tova, if you can start undressing the Torah and preparing it, I can ask the grandparents to be seated as, again, we continue with the words so special for this part of our service. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hachod ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'amid na'aseh lecha lerosh. Great. And now, Tova, won't you tell us what your Torah portion's about? Can you read the introduction?
The Torah portion for this Shabbat that I will be reading is called Amor. It comes from the book of Leviticus, and my Hebrew reading begins with chapter 23, verse 1. In this portion, we read about the laws concerning the appointed times on the observance of Shabbat, Passover, Rosh Hashanah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for correcting that little thing. We got it all the way to the end there with that until it was time to do those famous words on Zoom, which is someone's got their mic open. Okay, so now, Tova, we want to invite up your aunt and uncle, Veronica and Noah Zimmerman, to stand with you for the first Aliyah on Zoom. Oh, they're on Zoom, right. I'm sorry, they're on Zoom. I should know that. In Redwood City, California, there you are. Great to see you. Wave to us, make sure you, oh good, you hear us? So Noah, if you can lead us in the blessing. Ya Amod, Ha'olel Aliyah Torah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Beautiful job. And now, Tova, you go begin with your first aliyah. Oh, are they muted? You're muted, Tova, perhaps?
John, we lost your close-up camera.
Yeah, we had a little mishap here.
Oh, we got to turn the camera on.
And
Unmute your long shot camera. We lost your close-up camera.
yeah, do you hear us now?
We hear you. We just, I think we hear you. So I think, Tova, I think you're good to start.
Yeah, hold on one sec. Bob, we should be on, both the close-up camera should be on, and the close-up camera mic is on now too.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you. You may begin, Tova.
Amen. V'daber Adonai al Moshe lemor. Daber al bnei Yisrael v'marta alehem. Moadei Adonai asher tikra'u otam mikrai kodesh. Elehem moadai. Sheshet yamin tasem melacha uvayom hashvi'i. Shabbat Shabbaton mikra kodesh. Kol melacha lo tasu. Shabbat hi l'Adonai.
Beautiful job, Tova. And now back to Redwood City, California for your family there, Noah, Veronica, and the kids. Kind of lead us in the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Beautiful job. Yasher koach to you. And now, Tova, back to your home for the second aliyah where your aunt and uncle are there with you, Daniel LaCroix and Stephanie LaCroix. We invite them up to the Torah to lead us in the second blessing. Ya'amod ha'oleh la'aleh la Torah.
No, there's perfect.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ele moadei Adonai mikra'ei kodesh asher tikra'u otam bemoadam. Bechodesh harishon barba asar. Lechodesh bein harbaim pesach Adonai. Uvahamisha asar yom lechodesh hazeh. Chag hamatzot Adonai. Shivat yamim matzot tochelu. Bayom harishon mikra kodesh yihyeh lachem. Kol melachat avodah lo tasu. V'hikravtem Mishe Adonai shivat yamim. Bayom hashvi'i mikra kodesh. Kol melachat avodah lo tasu.
Beautiful job. And now the blessings after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam nata b'torchenu. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach to you. And now, Tova, for your third aliyah, we get to call you by your Hebrew name, now for the first time as a Bat Mitzvah. Ta'amod, 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 habachura, habat mitzvah, Tova Devora, bat Shoshana Chaya, v'Jonathan, la'aliyah la Torah, chazak. And now you can lead us in the blessing.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacharbani mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
V'daber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber al bnei Yisrael v'amarta lehem ki tavro'u el haaretz asher ani notein lachem u'ktzartem et kitzira v'havitem et omer rishit kitzurchem el hakohen v'hinif et haomer lifnei Adonai litzonechem mimacharat haShabbat inifenu hakohen v'asitem b'yom hanifem et haomer Keves tamim ben shanato le'olam Adonai.
Beautiful. Yashikach. And now the blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. Yashikach to you, Tova. And now we're going to invite up Chana and Isaac to help dress the Torah. So I invite you guys to come on up. And if you can start getting the Torah rolled up, and they'll help put the cover on it while we sing the words traditional at this time. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Yala lai 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 yada lai 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 lai. Yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai. Isaac and Hannah, high fives to you. You guys are awesome. Great job. I'm high-fiving you. You can't see me. But anyway, Tova, we're going to, while the Torah is off to the side, we're going to have you tell us about the Haftarah and then lead us in the Haftarah blessings and your portion.
We turn now to the Haftarah, or concluding reading of the Torah service. The Haftarah that I will read is from the book of Ezekiel, beginning with chapter 44, verse 18. The status, practices, and privileges of the priesthood are explained. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Harei fishtim yihiu orosham u'michnasei fishtim yihiu al manehem lo yichgavu b'yazah uv'tzeitam el chatzer hitzonah el ha'am yifshatu et bigdeihem asher hema mishartim bam v'hinichu otam b'lishvot hakodesh v'lavshu begadim achirim v'yikadshu etam b'vigdeihem v'rosham lo yigalehu u'fera lo yishalehu kasom yachsemu et rashehem v'yayin lo yishtu kol kohen bevoam el chatzer hapnimit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol ha'alamim tzadik v'chol ha'dorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer b'oseh ha'medaber u'mekayem שכל דבריו אמת וצדק. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הבנים ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ותפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Amen. Tova, that was amazing. Your chanting was spectacular. Cantor Shockett has left the Bima so he can get you an application to Cantorial School. We are so proud of you, and we thank you for your leadership with our Torah service. And we invite you now to share your own reflections, your own words on this day and this portion with us. Back to you, Tova.
And hold it. Okay.
You could have.
Somehow the tech made it through that.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming to my Bat Mitzvah, whether you're in person or on Zoom. And thank you guys so much for understanding the COVID precautions that we needed to take to keep everyone safe. I know that it's not really normal to have half of the people at a Bat Mitzvah on Zoom, and I apologize for the technical difficulties that happened. Everyone in person, thank you for wearing a mask and remaining socially distanced from people outside your bubble. I know that's not the easiest thing to do. In my Torah portion and more, it talks a lot about how we should not work and take the whole day off of work or school on the Jewish holidays, more specifically Shabbat and Passover. I do not think this is as much about being able to celebrate the rituals connected with the holidays, with the extra time that you would have in your day off, as much as it is about showing respect for them and putting Judaism before work, school, or other plans. My Torah portion mainly talks about Passover and Shabbat. It says that you should take the whole day off for Passover and Shabbat and certain days of Passover, even though it would not be necessary to take the entire day off to observe the rituals connected with the holidays. The Shabbat rituals take place in the early morning or late evening, so even if you did need to take time off to be able to observe the rituals, you would still be able to go to work for a lot of the time, whether you work at night or during the day. Even though it does make it a little bit easier to observe them, I think that taking the day off of work, school, and other activities is more about respecting the holidays and showing how Judaism comes before other things. Judaism is an important part of my identity, and being Jewish is important to who I am because it makes me unique. Although there may be people who are similar to me, being Jewish means that I'm different from a lot of people. And if everybody was the same, the world would be very boring. My Torah portion relates to today because the society that we live in isn't based on Judaism or Jewish holidays because so few people are Jewish. Every year I have to miss a few days of school for Jewish holidays, and normally I miss all of the attendance pizza parties because of my absence. I know that being Jewish is a really important part of my identity, though, and observing the Jewish holidays is a major part of Judaism. I think that it's important to observe the holidays, and sometimes you need to put some things first. I think that observing the holidays is a very important part of Jewish culture, and I think that it's important that we observe them, even if that means missing out on other things. For some people, that's not the right choice, and that's okay. But for me, Judaism comes before a lot of other things. In conclusion, I would like to thank my parents for helping me get my backyard ready for my Bat Mitzvah, planning the whole thing, and just helping me out in general. I would like to thank my siblings for not distracting me when I was trying to practice most of the time. I would like to thank everybody who's here and on Zoom and stuff. I would like to thank the internet for making it possible for me to learn everything without it being unsafe COVID-wise and letting everybody be here. I would like to thank my tutor, Ms. Andrews, so much for teaching me everything I needed to know for my Bat Mitzvah. And I would like to thank the Temple Rosh Shalom clergy for checking up on how I was doing with my preparations and for leading the service today. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Tova, Shabbat Shalom indeed. And as we say, Yesher Kochech to you, which means awesome job. I think at home, if you, I'm pleased to be able to see you there. So if you want to stay at the podium, I'm kind of looking sideways because I see you on my screen over here. But I want to just say a few words to you, Tova, words of congratulations. I know you have a whole congregation of family and friends with you who are eager to congratulate you, but I get to be the first. I have this mic right now, so I get to say Mazal Tov for leading our service with such enthusiasm, for chanting the Torah so beautifully, and for your message today, which is really a commitment to our tradition. And I am so grateful to you for that, for even at the young age of 13, stepping up and saying, there are times when this tradition is going to take precedence in my life. And I'm really grateful to you for doing that. It's not an easy thing to do. And all of us, whether we come from the Jewish tradition or other traditions, really have to learn how there and when we will allow important themes, important traditions, important people in our lives to step forward and take the center stage. Becoming a Bat Mitzvah is a time when we begin to realize that the world is not always about us, and it's time to sometimes step back and let other forces, excuse me, and other needs of other people take the center stage. I love, Tova, that you talked about Shabbat, because actually Shabbat is my favorite holiday. It's also really the most important holiday in Judaism. I know you talked about like all the, your service, what your words were mostly your Torah portion about Passover and Shabbat, but this Torah portion also talks about Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And a lot of people think that these big holidays, including Passover, are like the major ones. But I want to tell you that Shabbat is actually the most important and most major holiday. And the reason it is, that reason I think is going to speak to you, because when I look at your family and how you have embraced this day and the love that exists between you, it really speaks to the message of Shabbat. Shabbat is about honoring time over space. It's about honoring relationships over material things. It's about recognizing, supporting, and loving people over things. Now, this experience we've had with COVID, and you mentioned it, Tova, of course, has helped to clarify this. Let me ask all the people, whether you're there at Tova's house or on Zoom or on live stream, what have we really valued? How have we gotten through this last year of pandemic? We've gotten through because we have had people by our side who have filled these hours of isolation. We've gotten through because we have had loving parents who have helped push us along through Zoom school, and friends who have connected with us on FaceTime. It's all about people, our relations with them, and in between those relationships, the values that we preserve. That is the essence of Shabbat, and that is really the most valuable thing, I hope, for you too, Tova. Nod your head, I can see you on the side. Yay, she's still watching me. All right. All of us will take something away from this service. I hope one of the things will be the importance of people and people who live out and raise up the values that we all share. Some of them come within Judaism. Some of them are beyond Judaism. All of them are important. And if we can connect to those values once a week, that's how we're going to make the world a better place. When you connect to those values every week, then on Monday and on Tuesday and on Wednesday, you have something to live out in your life. Tova, as you get back into the world, right? Because COVID is going to come to an end, please God. And as you go back to school next year and get back into your activities, carry with you, please, the experiences and the values that are captured in the rituals that are observed on Shabbat and every day. If you do that, I am sure you will bring blessing to your family, as you have today, to our community, our congregation, and our world. I know that Cantor Shakit and I, on behalf of all the clergy, thank you for the blessing you've been to us today. and encourage you to continue to go forth in the world as a blessing, prioritizing the people, the relationships, and the values that have filled this year for you. And now, to share a blessing with you, I'd like to invite your mom and dad to come and stand next to you, and Hannah and Isaac to come up as well, as your family now supports you in receiving the blessing of Bat Mitzvah. So we're looking to all the LaCroix family, immediate family, to gather at the podium there. Find those younger kids, won't you? All right.
Yivarecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha.
Tova, may God bless you and may God keep you.
Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
As you have shone so beautifully upon us today, may God shine upon you on all the journeys that are ahead.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha.
And may God grant you all the things that you want and need in this world, but especially shalom, peace, peace, Tova, that you feel inside of yourself, a peace that you share with the members of your family, and a peace that you, through your many gifts, bring into our world. And let us all say, Amen.
And here's a song for you, Tova. Taking your place in an enduring line. This is the day that you stood up to say, our tradition is mine. You have now read the Torah. It's been passed on to you. It's our law and our story, but each telling is new. It is said we stood at Sinai, and today you know you're there. You're the promise of a people, a blessing and a prayer. Taking your place in a resilient line. This is the day that you stood up to say, our tradition is mine. You have now held the Torah, forged a link to the past. You're the face of our future, and the reason we last. La'alechet bidrachav, v'lishmor mitzvotav kol hayamim. May you walk in God's ways, and may all of your days be blessings. It is said we stood at Sinai, and today you know you're there. You're the promise of a people, a blessing and a prayer. You're the promise of a people, the blessing and a prayer. Mazel tov to you, Tova, and we're going to begin the concluding prayers of our service. And so if everyone is already standing, great. If not, we invite you to rise. Page 282 in your prayer books. We return as we sing Aleinu at the open ark. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula liyotzer breshit, shehu notes shamayim v'yoser aretz, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Friends, please remain standing as we make our way from Aleinu to Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. It is wonderful, Tova, that you are surrounded by so many beloved family members. But of course, I know that your family is very much missing your grandmother, Gail Herzenberg. We think of her now as we prepare to recite the Mourner's Kaddish. I'm sure there are many other people in the circle of your family who various people wish could be present, who are no longer alive. All of them are remembered, and we also think of our temple members who have yahrzeits on this Shabbat, who may be joining us for this service so that they too can say the mourner's prayer. We are on page 294, to recite Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, together. Please join me. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam omei omaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudisha birchu. Leolam mimkol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imeru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and comfort and strength and love to everyone who is mourning, to everyone who is grieving, here and everywhere, and let us say, Amen. Won't you all please be seated? Cantor Shockett.
And Tova, I want to offer some, not only my own mazel tov to you, and Rabbi Schwarzman's right, I'm working on filling out the cantorial school application for you, so I know you got a couple more years to go, but please consider that. The temple has a number of gifts for you, including a certificate of your Bat Mitzvah that Rabbi Schwarzman and I have signed along with our executive director, that is made by a member of our congregation, and I hope that you will display this proudly in your room and remember this special day whenever you look at it. In addition, there's a bag of gifts here for you that, even though you're not here, you can come to get it, although Rabbi Schwarzman and I might eat the chocolate that's in the bag. No, I'm just kidding. There's actually no chocolate. But we have for you a couple of gift certificates in here, one from the North American Federation of Temple Youth towards travel in Israel during your high school years, one from our own Tristy, a copy of our Reform Movement's home prayer book, courtesy of the women of TRS, the travel mug from Tristy, and a Kiddush cup from all of your clergy that we hope you will use each Shabbat. So we look forward to giving you these materials, and again, mazel tov to you. I do want to announce to all of the people who are watching on Zoom that we'd love for you to stay on, even though the rabbi and I will be finishing the service in just a minute. As soon as we're done, please stay on so that Tova and her family can have you all join them for a little Kiddush celebration and some speeches after we're done our service. So we conclude with the singing of Ein Kelohenu, page 322 in your prayer books. Please join us and then remain standing for the final benediction. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kel Malkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mich Eloheinu, Mich Adonenu, Mich El Malkeinu, Mich Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel El Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Inspired by Tova's words, by her actions, by her leadership, may we all go forth from this service connecting to one another, living out the values of our traditions, and trying to make the world a better place. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.